sometimes as a photographer, I'll go down to some location, like for instance here around sunset, and I have in mind, oh, maybe today will be a great sunset, for instance. And I come down here and it's like, well, there's not a whole lot of upper level clouds, and I think it's mostly just going to be a bunch of orange, and it will be a nice sunset, because the sunset is just always nice, especially out over the water and such, but it's not like a very multifaceted, multicolored sunset like I want it to be. And it could surprise me. It may end up being that way today, but I kind of feel like it's not going to be. And the really cool thing is, and I experience this so much as a photographer, is that there is always something that reveals itself as interesting. And sometimes it's never even just a picture, it's just a moment and a feel, and that's really cool too. But I'll find that myself and others, sometimes we set ourselves up for disappointment. And what is that all about? Well, whether it's photography or anything else in life, we get disappointed when we have an expectation for something that we get rigid about. We expect that it's going to be this way, or it's supposed to be this way, or we've invested a lot of energy, time, money, effort into, so we're really highly invested in it, and so we've got this expectation that we don't want to let go. If we're so rigid about it, then we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. Sometimes it's not disappointment, it just depends on the situation, but that's where disappointment lives. If we lose the expectations, which is a whole lot easier said than done, but if we can lose the expectations, then we will lose the disappointment, because there is always something that is wonderful, and there's always something that we can be curious about. So wonder and curiosity is such a wonderful thing. As part of releasing that expectation, it's part of being present and in the moment, it's part of letting ourselves be able to see possibility instead of expectation, which is the lack of possibility. Expectation is like putting your blinders on and expecting it to be just a certain way. And so we're setting ourselves up for disappointment, for frustration, for a life that is forced, for situations that are forced. And sometimes it puts us in life, it can put us in really weird situations where we say and do things that, was that me? Did I do that? That's not like me at all. And it's a thing. And in photography, I recall one time where I was off at one spot and I was filming before the sunrise to catch the cool colors and stuff. There was someone else there to catch the sunrise. And she takes great pictures, wonderful photography, but she was looking for something in this sort of epic department and had something in mind, and it wasn't materializing. Meanwhile, I was totally not disappointed, because there were so many just really cool and fun things that I was either catching in pictures or just enjoying watching or feeling part of, and our experiences were vastly different. And it boiled down to expectation. And that's the essence of life everywhere, not just photography, but just everywhere. If there's disappointment or things that are difficult, things that just aren't coming together, it's because there's an expectation that we're so rigid about. We're no longer seeing possibilities. We're trying to force things instead of letting go and surrendering to the moment and what will reveal itself. If I wonder how this is going to turn out. I had a situation like that at work this morning, and it was just, I couldn't get answers, and so I had to find the answers, and I had a limited amount of time to do so. I had some help, and we're both puzzling over it, and we figured stuff out, because rather than just, oh no, which causes everything to just kind of close in, instead we're like, okay, what do we have? What do we have to work with if we do this, do that? And we open ourselves up to wonder and curiosity and just tried to figure things out. And so we did. And that gave us success, which, success and failure, those are relative things. They just basically just teach us things in life. That's all. Some feels good, some doesn't necessarily feel good, but a lot of that sometimes is just how we stamp it with whether it should be or not, right? Or whether there's shame or whatever. That's a whole different subject. But at any rate, anytime we can lose expectation, lose our rigidity toward things, and open our mind up to curiosity, to wonder, to possibility, then we won't have disappointment. We won't have frustrations. We won't have those things where we're just forcing things in life. Boy, that just makes life so much more fun, so much more alive, so much more wonderful, and man, it just unlocks everything. So anytime you find yourself just really kind of locking down on something and not wanting to let it go, where you're telling yourself stories and stories and stories about something, and you're holding on tightly to that, you're investing heavily in something, you're expecting a certain rigid outcome, and you've got expectations that you need to let go of and release and let things be as they are. It doesn't mean we shouldn't plan things and try to work out goals and stuff, but I got to tell you, some of the best experiences in life are the things that just happen organically. And they might be part of a plan where you plan an outing or you plan this event or whatever, but the things that happen organically within that framework of things you're trying to do, if you let yourself release the rigidity, then it can be wonderful. Try it. It's really cool. Have you experienced this? I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye.